Arizona's home. I would love to be there. I would love to stay there. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be anywhere, but I've been in Arizona the past 2 years, and that's somewhere where I'm probably going to live when I'm done playing. I'll always be around. If they end up taking me and it's higher than what other people would take me, I would love that. I'd love to be a Cardinal due to the fact that, I love Arizona.
This is a big one, folks. We've been waiting for 2025 NFL Combine. Johnny Venerable Bulbrock, the best running back in college football. Cam Skattebo out of Arizona State, now in Indianapolis. How's the offseason going, Cam?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a journey. It's something that you'll never get back. So I've been enjoying it as much as I can. Long, tired days, but something you'll never get back, like I said. So it's been a fun process, enjoyment, new to me. So going through new things every day and not really knowing what's in the future. So it's been pretty cool.
You did your press availability just a couple yards from where we are right now, and you mentioned how Arizona State, that decision changed your life for the best. But I wanted to ask you as far as this season, because you guys flew so under the radar, the preseason rankings and all of that. But was there a point this season where things changed drastically for you? Like where it's just like your life yesterday was no longer the same as it was that day?
Yeah, I mean every game it kind of got a little bit more hectic. But as you can tell after the Iowa State game in the Big 12 championship, my life changed dramatically. And then,
Mm-hmm.
we go and play Texas 3 weeks later. Those 3 weeks actually were pretty calm for the most part. But after that Texas game, it was like it's a whole new lifestyle. I can't go to Walmart and get, a steak or go grab something from Walmart or Target and just be able to walk through the store. And it
Yeah.
was, it's cool to see that. You always wish to be known and, people just say your name when you're walking down the street or in the store. And it's been cool. It's exhausting and tiring, but something you always dreamed of. I've always dreamed of, and it's been a pleasure. And I can't wait to keep it rolling.
You mentioned in your presser Arizona being home now for you. There are 32 NFL franchises, but this is a Cardinal podcast. So I'm going to ask you the question everybody wants to know. Have you met with the Arizona Cardinals?
Um, I have met with them, not formally, informally. I have. They have me coming down soon, so I'll be at the Cardinals facility soon. I'm not going to say anything specific, but I meet with them. That's the first team I'll meet at their facility, and I'm excited to be there. It's going to be fun.
Well, we're excited that that's happening, and I've made comparisons, Cam, on the record, off the record. The Cardinals have done, I think, a disservice in the past, not this regime, when there's a local product staring you right in the face that we coined generational, Terrell Suggs once upon a time, even if it doesn't, quote unquote, fit a need, you just take the best player. And I think this is a special circumstance, with a guy like James Conner being there, a little bit up in age. Like, I think there is a pathway for you to play and play early for the Arizona Cardinals. What would it mean to remain in Arizona as a member of the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, first off, like I said, Arizona's home. I would love to be there. I would love to stay there. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be anywhere, but I've been in Arizona the past 2 years, and that's somewhere where I'm probably going to live when I'm done playing. I'll always be around. If they end up taking me and it's higher than what other people would take me, I would love that. I'd love to be a Cardinal due to the fact that, I love Arizona. And that'd be something that'd be pretty cool. Especially now that if I do end up there, I can, go back and see the guys at the school and see Coach Dillingham and, give back to that school and help as much as I can and really focus on the process and, not having to move everything across the country is always nice too. So.
During your legendary run, Kyler Murray was asked about you, and I don't know if you returned the favor yet, but he said, "It's just a dog. He's a dog." How do you break down Kyler's game?
I mean, the talent that he has is incredible. You see it in the college level. You see it now. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do this upcoming year. Because we get him to lock in the whole season. It's a different story.
Right.
And I think like you said, if there's a chance that I end up there, that we're teammates, and that could be a dangerous situation in the backfield. So he's a great player. I appreciate everything he does on the field because you could tell he loves the game, and hopefully maybe we can get him some help.
Jonathan Gannon, when we asked him, very complimentary of your game, of your play. What's your perception of JG, the Cardinals head coach?
Yeah, I mean he's a great coach. That's why he's there, and just getting rolling and getting things started. And I'm excited to see what they have going there. And if I end up a possibility in that situation, I'd be blessed to be there because those guys all have a lot of experience and they understand the game of football. And it's hard to say like you want to be somewhere over somewhere else, but every coach has a lot of experience in this game, and something that he does well, and he's very dialed into his X's and O's and really takes care of the guys. So you can see it through interviews and stuff that
Yeah.
he cares.
Lots of juice, like Dilly, lots of juice
Yeah,
that he
exactly.
brings, And how important is that? And how important is it for it to come off authentic and it's not like somebody just trying to relate as a head coach to a 16, 17, 18, 20-year-old?
No, and yeah, it's good because if you understand who the players are and how they go about life, you're gonna understand how to coach them. And Coach Dillingham did a great job with us because he's younger. He understands the way we go about life, and it helps him develop meaningful relationships between us. And then when he does have something to say and coach us about it, he knows how to coach it, and he knows when the right time is to coach it. And I think it's huge to be in that realm of life, being younger and understanding the generation that you're coaching.
Pro comps can often be lazy, but I do think with your center of gravity, your unique circumstance where, I watch you and I see a guy, a mixture of LaDainian Tomlinson, and then, of course, you've got the power element. Are there guys that you just enjoy watching from the running back position? It's just like, yeah, I like to model my game after them.
Not 100%. I've been solely focused on making myself better. Um, there's references I make to where I watch them. I wouldn't say I model in after anybody. I've grown up to learn how to do it my way and learn how to play football the way I do. Obviously, there's the guys that I've pointed out and said that I like their game, and I do watch them and I do, take things after them in little bits and pieces.
Who are
But
some of those guys?
Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Le'Veon Bell, as you said. There's the undersized backs that throughout the years that have been successful, and people think I'm undersized, so that's why I say that. But
Mhm.
you know, I'm as big as you want me to play. People they see me on the television like, okay, that kid can play,
Yeah.
and then see me in person, and they're like, oh, he's smaller than I thought. Well, I was big enough on TV for you, so it doesn't matter what I look like. So there's a lot of guys out there that have great football, and you pick from each one of them and try to make yourself better.
Any of them make you laugh? Because anytime your name comes up, there's always a common theme. It's like, oh, Peyton Hillis. They'll call Christian McCaffrey. They'll say, Brian Leonard. It's like there's a common theme there. It's just white running backs, right? Is it ever like any of them you hear that kind of just makes you laugh?
I mean, a lot of people end up doing that, and
Yeah.
it's funny because it's the older generation, probably about 55 years and up. They
Yeah.
always revert to a white guy, and I'm like, who am I? I'm me. So
Right.
it's like if I have bits and pieces of different players, you don't have to revert to one person. Like there's multiple
Yeah.
people. As I grew up, I was taught not to see color. I grew up with multiple different types of ethnicities, and I just learned from them. And
Mhm.
and everybody that was involved in my game, I took after little bits and pieces of everybody. I learned what the bad things were, what the good things were, what not to do, what not to say, what to do. And it's been fun. So yeah, go back to your question. It's funny that I see those things, and it makes me laugh every time.
You're coming here, you're checking a lot of boxes. Walk me through what the rest of the offseason in preparation for the draft is going to look like for you.
Yeah, so I'm doing vertical and broad jump here, and then come March 27th, I'll do everything at the pro day at ASU, and then I'll stay in Phoenix and train throughout that time in March, and hopefully not be harassed too much. Be able to focus on
We'll do our
training.
best.
Be focused on training, and making sure that people understand where I'm trying to go at the moment. And then the next year of my life is going to be pretty hectic. Going into a rookie year is not easy. So I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. I can't wait to see what it has in store for me.
Yeah, we'll make sure Ruby and Toe Tree keep their distance from you during those moments. Before we get more into that, like, is there been an interaction? What's been the craziest person to reach out to you during this run of yours?
So I was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl marketing thing going on, and you know, I met a lot of people I never thought I'd meet, a lot of famous people. I think the coolest one, obviously, don't get me wrong, there's people that I looked up to. Reggie Bush, I met. I met Shaq. I met a bunch of people that people never expected to meet. I think one of the cooler ones is when Adrian Peterson came up behind me and like grabbed my shoulders, like, "Hey man, I just want to introduce myself." And I'm like, "Holy cow! No, I want to introduce myself." And so having a conversation with him for about 30 minutes was great. speaking words of wisdom. He's battled through everything. He's one of the best to do it. Battled through an injury, came back, had a really good season, and then, you know, stepped away from the game. So having a conversation with him was awesome.
Have teams talked to you about how they would utilize you, your usage at the NFL level? You did so much at ASU, but I think we view you as a bell cow running back. Are those conversations being had already?
Not yet. I think once I get to wherever I'm going, that's when they'll focus on what they're going to do with me. I think at this moment I'm focused on, and everyone else is focused on playing running back. Now in 5 years in the future, if they're like, let's put the trick play in, it could happen my rookie year. Don't get me wrong, but 5 years down the road, I'm playing still, and there's a possibility that they understand that I can do different things. So I'm excited to go to a coach that understands my versatility and what I have in store, and hopefully that they end up using that.
How many formal interviews have you had so far?
I had 9 formal interviews on Wednesday, and then I've had any since. So I have a bunch of informals tonight. So
Do you feel comfortable revealing any of the teams you've spoken with?
yeah, there's been some good teams. So I spoke with going in order, right? Let's go Rams, Cincinnati.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Rams, Cincinnati, Chargers, Niners, Bears, Cardinals. These are both informal. Um, the Steelers I met with, the Saints I met with, the Panthers I met with, the Vikings I met with. So it's been good. It's been fun. I'm sure that I got informals tonight, so I'm sure a lot of other teams are going to snatch me up too. So I'm excited for that.
Is there anybody?
I can see him playing in any of those. I can see you playing in any of those uniforms.
Yeah, that's a nightmare for us in the NFC West.
I mean, you grew up in the Bay Area. I mean, what's it mean like to you when the Niners reach out and they set up that interview?
Yeah, I mean, that was a dream come true. I get a phone call from a Niner scout, and it's like, holy cow, the 49ers are calling me. Obviously it's awesome, but at this point in my life, there's 32 teams. Who's going to take me?
Right.
It's at this point, it's not. You're not a fan of anybody. You're a fan of who takes you, who's going to give you a chance to play at this level.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's play for them, and that's who you are. If I go to the Cardinals, I'm a Cardinal. If I go to the Steelers, I'm a Steeler. If I go to the Niners, I'm a Niner. So I'm excited for whoever takes me. That's who I'm going to be a fan of.
You have immense belief in yourself. How important do you think it was from a national perspective that you got to showcase your abilities against the best in the world at the collegiate level during the college football playoff when you basically put the whole national scene on notice?
Yeah, I think I was a little under the radar until about those last 2 games. You never know. I could have been a free agent guy or 7th round, 6th round guy. Now that the Peach Bowl and the Big 12 championship, I had 2 really good games and showcased what I could do through all my versatility aspects. That just bumped me up, and I'm excited and I'm glad I got to be in those footsteps and be able to play against those teams and show what I had, because it showed these teams what I can do.
We talked to legendary Sun Devil Todd Heap at the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago, and he said he witnessed you practicing for the first time at ASU 2 years ago, and he said if Dilly can have all his players play like that, I mean they're going to be, that's the blueprint essentially. How do you feel like you've been able to instill your mentality, your work ethic, your process on your former teammates and guys who are going to walk through that facility in Tempe?
Yeah, 100%. Because if you look at it, like what happened from year 1 to year 2, I changed a little bit of what was going on in my life, and then we bring guys in that love football. I started loving it more because these guys loved it, and then the guys that maybe were on the edge started loving it even more. And then you get all those guys to come together, and then that running back room is special to me because I had a good connection with them, and I helped them. They still call me every day, checking in on me, how the combine's going and everything. So I was a big role model for them, and I enjoyed it. So having them, and it was super fun being there, and it definitely fed off people the way I played the game.
I've got a 9-year-old son who was infatuated with your play this year. He plays flag football. How important is it for you to continue to make a good impression for the people of Arizona that you've touched so many, especially the youth in the area?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you, that I'm a good person, and I try to be a good person, and I try to keep it that way. When I have a young kid that's able to watch me play football, and his parents like, "Oh, we got to turn that off." No, they're enjoying it because their kids are enjoying it. So and then if a kid likes it, then the parents start to watch more because the kid wants to watch, and it's been awesome because you never know who you're gonna inspire, who you're gonna bring up. You never know your son in 10 years could be 19 years old playing at Arizona
Well, that's
State,
his dream now.
playing running
Next
back.
Cam
So
Skattebo.
I mean, you never know from 10 years from now how that could work out. So I'm glad I'm able to show him the ropes a little
Yeah.
bit on the TV.
I mean, the next Cam Skattebo, and you look to Arizona State and their run this year, and they're in great hands with Kenny Dillingham, obviously. But is there something like a proverbial like passing of the baton? Like whose program is it now? Maybe on the players' side.
Yeah, because there's so many good running backs there. There's obviously Sam Levitt. He's gonna. I've always said this whole past year he's gonna win the Heisman in the next 2 years. I believe in him. He believes in himself. He already knows. We've had this conversation. But I put that torch up in that running back room, and whoever's gonna take it. They all can. It's just who's gonna step up, who's gonna do the right things, who's gonna prove to coach that they're capable and they're valuable enough, and obviously somebody has to do it, so someone's going to take it. And I'm excited to see which one of those guys do it. I have a couple guys in mind. I won't say them because I
Sure.
love them all, but I'm excited to see who takes that and runs with it.
Speaking of running with it, at what point last year do you think to yourself like Sam's a big time player and he can get us to where we want to be?
I'm going to tell you Cincinnati lost when he got hurt the game before against Utah, and we lost to Cincinnati. It was like we were a bit of a different football team, and with Sam there, we might have won by 21 points.
Yeah.
It might have been a little bit different story. I'm not knocking the quarterback that was in and anything, but he's special. And when the season went on, and we're down 14-0 and 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to start the game against Texas, and he's like, "Dude, we can still win this football game." It's like, okay, this guy, you can't get in this kid's head, and I see him argue, like not argue, but I see Coach Dillingham trying to get in his head all the time, and Coach Arroyo messing with him, trying to get in his head, get him off his game, and he's the same person the whole time. Even when he's frustrated to when he's relaxed, he's the same player. There's nothing that can change the way he's gonna play the game. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna make better and what he's gonna improve because there's a lot to improve in him. Don't get me wrong, but he's a very good player, and I'm excited.
I was really impressed by your media savvy at the podium just an hour ago. Just some of the questions you were fielding, including the one, and I'm going to say it because you couldn't, and it was. I'm not going to say it as eloquently as you did. Like it's absurd that ASU only got one guy here. And when I think about Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, it's like this is going to be the last year that you guys have just one representative here at Indy at the combine and in the draft.
Yeah, so hopefully that kind of open the eyes up to the fans and these scouts and coaches and GMs and Jeff, the guy that runs the whole thing. So I'm hoping that Jeff's actually an ASU alumni, so that's why I was a little surprised, and so I talked to him and I talked to the guys and I'm like, hey, look, you're gonna get your chance. It might not be at the combine, but you get your chance. Show out when it's meant to be, and the next 4 to 5 years, there's going to be 2, 3 guys trickling here. And then, as time goes on, Coach Dillingham's going to have at the minimum 5 guys a year coming in here. So I'm excited to see that and, understand who's here.
How does it feel to be a part and the staple of getting ASU onto the national scene where people view Kenny Dillingham as a big time head coach and obviously ASU being now a perennial contender for not only Big 12 titles, but national championships?
Yeah, I mean, that's Coach Dillingham's effect. He brings in guys that love football, and he brings in smart guys and guys that make good decisions and guys that love the game. And when you put those together, and if you can build those guys into a family, there's a lot that goes into it. Don't get me wrong, but if you can get those guys to connect, the guys that love football, it's going to be a very successful journey. So I'm excited to see what Coach Dillingham has in store, because what he's planning is something that none of us are going to even think about. I wouldn't be surprised if he won a national championship at Arizona State within the next 10 years. I'm excited to see it.
Well, I mean, what's that? Is it the consistency? Is it doing it again as a program?
Yeah, I think the hard part is that.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, is the consistency of staying as a winning team,
Mm-hmm.
and not letting guys get complacent. Coach Dillingham doesn't let that happen. The whole season, it was the same attitude, the same thing every time. We're 12-2 going into against Texas, and it's like they counted us out. They're still counting us out, and we're 12-2, and we're in the playoffs. We're the 4 seed, or we're the
Yep.
4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how are you still counting us out? This team, there's no way this team's still being counted out. And if he can keep that attitude through those guys and have those guys, and as I hear now from my old teammates, is they're sticking with that, and they're going to continue to get counted out. They might get ranked higher now that we won a Big 12 championship and went to the playoffs, but they're still thinking because they're still doubters. And Coach Dillingham continues to bring up those doubters, which is something that needs to be said.
Let's bring it full circle as we conclude here back to the NFL draft. You mentioned, maybe before the college football playoff, teams looked at you differently with maybe a different draft stock, right? And then all we're hearing about this year is great year for running backs. Get a running back early. Have teams talked to you about potentially, or your people said, hey, this is where we think you could go? Where's that ceiling at for you think?
Yeah, obviously everyone's waiting for the 40-yard dash. That's the big thing for here on all these teams. So they're going to see that on March 27th, and they're going to make their decision. It's never predictable where you're going to go. Don't get me, unless you're, a top 5 guy. And you never know if you're going to sneak into that first round, if you're going to get into the second round or the third round or the fourth round. Obviously there's rumors in that third round is probably somewhere where I'm going to go, but if the Cardinals want me enough, hopefully they'll take me in the second.
Do you have an idea of what you want to run? Do you want to put that out there? You want to keep that?
I'm going to keep that on the down low.
Have you got faster though? I mean, you've been saying you're trading down in Florida. Have you seen?
Yeah, there's definitely an improvement. Yeah. I've learned how to run. The technique has gotten better. So I think a lot of people are going to be shocked at what I run. So I'm excited to prove to people that I'm faster than what they think.
Is it something that's applicable to what you're going to play, how you're going to play going forward? Is it just your pro day running the 40?
No, it's 100% going to be what I translate to my game.
Oh,
nice. It's running with the ball in open field. Simply of standing too straight up and not digging long enough through the hole, and just learning how to run is going to teach me when I have the ball in my hands. This is how you need to run. So training those muscles to do that and training my mind to stay in the right position to run it's simply making you faster.
Have you decided where you're going to be during the 3-day stretch during the draft?
I will be in Chandler, Arizona, with some family and friends. Obviously, we're going to be in a house, and unless they call me and say you need to be at the NFL draft in Green Bay, then I'll be there, obviously. But as of right now, I'll be at one of the houses one of my family's houses, and I'll be there with family and friends supporting, and I can't wait to hear my name called.
So generous with his time, Arizona State legend Cam Skattebo. Please, future Arizona Cardinal. We're so fired up to welcome Cam to the show. Best of luck this offseason, my guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.